Hello and welcome to Edge and Gone. Here we are to discuss the Border Gavaskar series of 2020-2021. We've just seen the conclusion of the third test at the Sydney test, and boy, we are watching one of the great series of recent times. I honestly think this is one of the greatest series we've seen in terms of just how two titans of cricket are clashing at such a competitive, close-called level. And it's just thrilling cricket. I'm not just saying that because of how gritty India's second innings was in the Sydney test. The likes of Jadeja, Pant and Vihari, all of whom injured, able to stay out and bat away the day, bat time, survive, and put Australia to a draw. And the likes of Pujara, who, whilst not injured, he still maintained a 77 off 205 deliveries. I'm also describing here just how closely fought this series has been from the beginning, the very beginning in Adelaide. First test, second test at Melbourne as well. Just put everything together, you are watching such a close, thralling contest. I will start from the first test. We go back to Adelaide, a day-night test match. India's not played too many of these. Australia's played plenty, most of which have been in Adelaide, so there's a significant home ground advantage and the day-night advantage experience of an Australian bowling lineup, the Australian team going into a day-night test. Add to that, you've got a lack of Ishant Sharma and Rohit Sharma as well for the Indian side at this stage. And there were a fair amount of questions because of this, how the Indian bowling lineup would match it up against the Australians. Add to that, you've also got the likes of Virat Kohli, whose only test was coming in this test. So there's a lot of inconsistencies and discrepancies in the Indian team, both batting and bowling. So going into that first test, India, well, they played overall better cricket up until that third innings. All out for 244 in the first innings, and the second innings, well, the Australian first innings, they make 191, so they're behind the 8 ball. India, a few batsmen got starts. Pujara, Rahane, Kohli, all good starts. Weren't able to make a big score. Kohli obviously made the 74. But 244, when you come to Adelaide at a day-night test, first test match of the series as well, it's a pretty handy score. And then you've got a Australian batting lineup with the likes of Smith and Labuschagne. Your money's on them to make good runs, to respond and to counter-attack. But that didn't really happen. Labuschagne got a start, didn't make a score. Tim Paine, the lone standout, was 73 not out. And otherwise, you've got the likes of Wade, Burns, Smith, Head, and debutant Green, all of whom post low scores. And you've got Australia behind the 8 ball and struggling. Pressure's on them to deliver, and the more pressure on the bowlers, particularly to keep India to a small score, because at this stage, you're putting your money on India to win the test match. But then came the stunning bowling of test cricket, of cricket in general, from the likes of Stark, Hazlewood and Cummins, to roll over India for 36 in a session. Just simply incredible. Simply unbelievable bowling. Really just deflated the Indian attack. Kohli's gone, and that's his series done. And the team, you have to say, is on the cusp of being in shambles. Not in shambles, but on the cusp. To get rolled for 36 in such a dramatic fashion, and then Australia to chase the runs and win by 8 wickets. You're looking at Melbourne, and there's a lot of pressure on that Indian lineup. Particularly when you consider as well that Mohammad Shami got injured in that match too. Confidence would have been relatively low at the end of that. And pressure on the incoming captain, Ajinkya Rahane. And full credit to him though, because come the second test, Boxing Day test, MCG, Australia bat first, Rahane would be nervous. But then the Indian bowling lineup, which theoretically looked depleted on paper with the absence of Ishant Sharma and Mohammad Shami, they came out and just did a brilliant job. Bumrah, always good. He's a fantastic bowler with Bumrah, 4 wickets. Yadav, no wickets, but bowled well. And then you've got the likes of Ashwin and Jadeja, fantastic spinners, and Mohammad Siraj on debut, having a good impact. Australia all out for 195. Again, that batting lineup just wasn't able to settle and build partnerships, build an innings. Burns out for a duck. Wade, a start, didn't go on. Labuschagne, start, didn't go on. Steve Smith, a duck. Travis Head, a start, didn't go on. Green and Payne, not many runs. Just a well-bowled display of India. And they respond. Particularly Rahane responds, stepping up to the plate in the absence of Kohli as captain, makes the first century of the series. Supported by Shubman Gill on debut, 45, Jadeja of 57, and starts from Vihari and Pant. And they go into the third innings of the game ahead. That 36 in Adelaide, it's past them. They've put it behind. Game is on. Test match is on. Australia are under pressure now. And they respond with 200. So in the 2 innings at the Boxing Day test, Australia muster 395. It's not enough. And again, the Australian batting lineup failed to make a good score and stay together. Wade, a start, didn't go on. Labuschagne, Green, made starts, didn't go on. India chased the target, 8 wickets in hand, and the series is alive. 2 great bowling units. Batting lineups which had really yet to blossom. Key individual performances here and there, but not enough to really make their mark. Credit to India, though, in the second test. They were able to piece together consecutive 50-run partnerships and then cap it off with a 100-run partnership. Australia have yet to do that. Come to the third test. Again, India's bowling lineup on paper looked depleted. Yadav and Shami both out. Navdeep Saini makes his debut, but Bumrah and Siraj and Saini make their impact. And Ashwin and Jadeja, well supportive, as always great spinners, and they also have a deep impact in this game. Poskovsky debuts for Australia, Warner is returned. However, Warner fails, as does Matthew Wade. Cameron Green, Tim Payne, nothing from them. It's Poskovsky who makes a debut, 62. Labuschagne, 91. Steve Smith, an overdue 100. He finally gets in the runs since the Ashes of 2019. And Australia do post a competitive 338, but looking back, it just wasn't enough to really stamp themselves on this test match from the get-go. However, the Australian bowlers do a fine job of containing the Indian batting lineup. Rohit Sharma comes back, Gill, Pujara, Rahane, Pant, they all make starts but are unable to really get on with it. Jadeja not out on 28. India are around 90 runs short. India are now, for the first time in this series, behind Australia, going into the third innings of the test match. And then Australia come out, and again, you just have that inconsistency with the Australian batting lineup. Warner and Poskovsky don't make enough runs. Labuschagne and Smith put together a nice 73 and 81 respectively. Matthew Wade failed again. Cameron Green, a nice 84. Tim Payne, a 39 not out. Australia declare, and they've set India a target of 408 with 4 sessions of cricket to go. Day 4, day 5. Pressure's on them. And even more pressure on them is the likes of Jadeja and Pant injured from their first batting innings. But it didn't seem to deter Rishabh Pant, who made a brilliant 97, a fighting 97. And I honestly think if he had stayed in, there were a chance of winning the test match. Would have been incredible. A stubborn defence from Pujara, 77 from 205. And then Hanuma Viharu, who did his hamstring, and Ashwin. Together, they held out for so long. So overall, it was a brilliant, stubborn, gritty defence of a fourth innings, chasing a huge total of 408. To bat the amount of time, face the amount of deliveries they did, hats off to the Indian players. They did a fantastic job. And Rishabh Pant, so unlucky not to make 100. And overall, this really just shows the character that both teams have. They're stubborn, they fight. If one element of the team fails, the other one picks up. Australia's batting hasn't worked out completely, the bowlers keep it up. If India's batting let them down a little bit, their bowling picks it up. You know, they've got so many world-class players here that really do stand up, albeit at different times. Just imagine if you saw the batsmen from both sides consistently working together, putting 50-run partnerships together at all times, you'd be seeing huge scores, albeit restricted from the stellar bowling. Overall, I think what this series is showing is the fact that you've got the two great teams of international cricket, of test cricket, of all formats of the cricket really, duking it out for one of the most prized trophies really. It's not the Ashes, but in terms of cricket, the Border Gavaskar series, the trophy, it's huge because of just how colossal the Australian cricketing team and how colossal the Indian cricketing team both are. How much grit there is, how much determination and ruthlessness there is in this game of cricket between these two sides. What we're witnessing is hands down some of the toughest cricket, most enthralling series of recent years. And the best thing is we've still got one test to go. The scores are level. India have to just draw the test match to retain the trophy, but they don't want that. They want to win. Australia needs to win it to retain the trophy, and we all know they want to win. It would be a near humiliation to not win 2 consecutive Border Gavaskar trophies series here at Australia. They were badly beaten in 2018, 2019. They would hate to be badly beaten again, especially with the likes of Steve Smith and David Warner back in the team, the 2 batsmen which many cited as the reason why they lost 2 years ago. If Australia lose it here now, this time round, there is no excuse. India would be the better team. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Take it easy. Have a good day. And I cannot wait to see what happens in Brisbane very soon.